Welcome to the Leasing Highway. I'm Karen, and this is Ian, and today we're welcoming Christy Gannon, Director of Digital Marketing with Griffiths Residential. So excited to have you, Christy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, so excited to be a part of this today. Thank you guys for inviting me.
You bet. I don't think we've ever said it before. We're now 5 shows in, and we're actually, for everybody out there, we're based in Denver. So over the weekend, actually Sunday alone, we got dumped on with 2 feet of snow. So the pictures out there are beautiful if you're on the internet, but when you're trying to shovel it, or like that's Ian's backyard, it's quite a workout because it's super heavy snow. I think the thing that cracks me up the most, though, is that when you listen to the national news, they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to be digging out for days in Denver, you know, the whole alliteration thing. And all of us know, it's our little secret, that it's already melted. It was already melted yesterday, and the roads are dry and fine, thanks to our awesome sun. So anyway, I just I thought that was actually a newsworthy weather comment to make. So Ian, is your back sore?
It'll be nice again until it snows tonight, but
right.
That's the way it goes.
Exactly. And I wish we had a picture.
It was the 4th largest snowfall in Colorado history. That was the big news too.
Yes. And you know what? Kudos to, so, you know, our podcast obviously focused on the apartment industry and appreciating our teams. The number of emails that I saw out there that were supporting team members that had made it in, you know, there's one team member here, one team member there, and the teams that just shouldered everything and helping our residents and going out there and shoveling themselves. So just a huge kudos and appreciation to everybody who did make it in and helped their properties continue on and support the residents. That's huge. So Christy, let's jump in and maybe you could just start off by sharing a little bit of your background, which is super interesting, and your role now.
Sure. So my background is really in project management and marketing. And to the extent I say project management, I dream in bullet points. And it is the best thing about me. And if you ask my husband, maybe the worst thing about me. And then I love to find problems and solve them. That's really at the essence of what I'm good at. So I started in this industry about 12 years ago, hired as a media buyer at a big REIT in Denver. And they had over 600 properties or so at the time. And I managed just media and print at the time. As the marketing team grew and as I grew, I was able to take on more responsibilities because when you're good at something, you know, you get added on more to your plate. And so I took on reputation management, email marketing, out of home, and then finally digital marketing and redevelopment marketing. And so, I took a little brief stint away from multifamily for just under a year, and then came back to Griffiths Residential, which is where I am today, and so happy to be back. Honestly, it feels like home. It's like eating comfort food. You know, this industry. Everyone is so welcoming and so wonderful, and it's really easy to jump back in.
They say that you know, once you start in this industry, you can't get out. So you tried and weren't successful. So so in your role today, you know, curious. I mean, you've seen, you know, this role evolve over time, and curious, you know, just to walk everyone through, like, what is a day in the life of the shoes of Christy Gannon? What does that look like from your role?
I'm afraid everyone would fall asleep on the podcast if I shared what I did on a day-to-day basis. Huh? What? So I would say, because I could really get into the details, but what I will say is that no 2 days are ever alike, and each day is kind of like juggling a bunch of plates in the air and not letting any one of them fall when you're managing a lot of different marketing opportunities across the country. And so I will say, though, what it comes down to really is looking at the strategic plan and making sure that every day is meeting milestones for the strategic marketing plan that you've created for the year. There are times when I meet with vendors and tap in with my team. We have a small, lean, mean, fighting team at Griffiths of 2 of us. And so we really need to stay on focus to make sure that we are on track with everything that we are working on.
When you talk about everything that you're working on, quite a year that we're in already in 2021. And I think our industry has, whether you go to an economic conference here or you listen to the national one, there's positive outlooks and there's less so, depending on who you listen to. And everybody says we don't know. But one thing we can do is control what we can control, right? And so what are the things that from your seat that you're focused on, the initiatives that you guys can control and you're looking forward to in 2021?
Sure. I would say, COVID definitely threw a curveball in, but above all, the key things that we are continuing to do with COVID even more is continuing to focus on that customer journey and giving customers all the information that they need to make an informed decision. So if that means whether they're touring with us or not touring with us, and making their customer journey as smooth as possible. And I've been with Griffiths for about a year now at this point. And so that it's constantly looking under the covers and seeing what that customer journey looks like and seeing where you can help make it better and easier. Also, another big focus is data. We have so much data and figuring out what points to look at and how to use data, but really a focus is centralizing all the data. So you have data on your website, you have data in your CRM, what visits converted to leases, and really being able to put all that data in one location so that you can have access to it with dashboards. And so data is a big focus for us this year as well.
There's so much out there, and it's, that you receive from every different person and vendor, and you just want that information that you can actually act on, right? Because there is such valuable information out there. I also have to tell a story, Christy, and I don't even think I've ever said this to you, but when you first started and we met you talked about the customer journey, and you were, a lot of people talk about it, but you were one of the first people in a meeting that I ever saw sit down. You put up the big screen, you grabbed your mouse and you put yourself in the role of a prospect going on to your website and then applying for an apartment home. And it was so just refreshing to see. And I know people do it. I'm not saying that other people don't do it, but just getting to be in the room with you and watching you navigate through that, I just thought was really, really awesome of you to do.
Well, thank you. It's really, it's about them, right? It's not about me and what I think is hard or easy. It's really about their experience and how they want to contact us and when they want to contact us. And that's really what just drives all the decisions that we make in marketing.
Well, yeah, because so many people say customer journey, right? And they look at the pieces. And what I watched you do is you looked at the transitions. I remember training with people and talking about just that transition from the front door and shaking somebody's hand to sitting down and qualifying. That there's a gap there, and at some properties it's 5 steps, others it's 35 steps. But what are we saying during that? You take it back to high school, and it was your English professor talking about the transitional sentences. So between your thoughts, that's basically what we're doing. And then too, with the customer journey, what are those transitional experiences between each tool or apartment home to put that whole journey together?
Right. And it's no small task. When I talk about customer journeys and taking a deep dive and looking at it, it's not a quick and dirty, hey, we're going to sit down and talk about it in an hour. You do have to get in the nitty gritty details of it for sure.
Yeah.
I think the other piece was that, a lot more companies have started to realize and focus on, but is that customer journey is different for every single prospect, and that people aren't always approaching apartment shopping the exact same way. And so it starts at different places. And I think with COVID this last year, I think a ton of people, all of a sudden had to rethink the different ways that people are actually looking for apartments. But it's what you guys have done such an amazing job at, and you in particular, is viewing it, in this entire industry of saying, great, we're going to have some prospects that are going to walk in and want to do a guided tour. We're going to have some that are going to want to do a self-guided tour. We're going to have some that are going to want to need that more digital experience, and really being able to plot that customer journey on really a flow chart with all the different technology pieces and all of the different paths that a prospect can take to really get so that they're in fact getting that satisfaction. So I think it's more people and companies are really thinking about those different paths, but you've definitely been at the forefront from that standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. Big respect. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to your beautiful new apartment home here at Gables Point 14. As you can see, we're featuring this beautiful one-bedroom den.
Welcome to the Get Focused podcast, a show with stimulating conversation about optimizing our human potential for those who think outside of the box. You'll hear thought-provoking conversation designed to help you blow past your obstacles and create strength and motivation in everything you do. Now, it's time to start thinking outside of the box. It's time to get focused.
Welcome back, everyone. So when we left there, we were just talking about some of Christy's past and what a day in the life of Christy Gannon's like, and some areas that they're focused on. And one of the questions that I wanted to throw your way here was, what do you see as some of the industry's biggest challenges kind of going forward? I mean, we've obviously seen a ton change over the last year, and seeing technology jump through, going way faster now. And just curious from your role and your perspective, what are some of those challenges?
I would say that technology and data are probably two of the largest challenges I see in this industry. Technology and analytics, specifically from big companies, think Uber Eats and Amazon, are changing the way that customers want to do business with us. And even though those aren't our industry, so the Instacarts of the world and the Grubhubs, not our industry, the way they treat their customers and help them make easy decisions, think one-click ordering on Amazon, that's how it's raising the bar of how customers want to do business across the board with other companies. And so staying on top of that technology is for sure a challenge. And then as well, that data piece again, what data is important? What data should we be looking at? And using that data to help drive the technology decisions that you make internally. All decisions really, and marketing as a landscape is changing just because more marketing people are needing data scientists to help them look at that data. It's not just marketing used to be known as we make everything pretty, but now we actually have to look at the numbers and make the decisions, right? And so building relationships within your team, within IT, you have to if you're in marketing, you have to be lockstep in tune with your IT team, because they're going to help support you with that data piece. And so that's one specifically, those are two of the biggest challenges. And then with COVID, especially for customers that may not feel comfortable yet coming back on site, it's being able to give them all the information that they need in order to make a decision about the home that they move in. So that on your website, do they know the pricing by unit? Are there photos? Do they know if there's a balcony or not a balcony, or which way the door of the closet opens? What are the amenities specific to that unit? Are there granite countertops? Is it stainless steel? So having all that level of detail available to customers is especially through COVID, is super important. And one of the ways to tackle these is to do some research and figure out what you feel like your company needs, research solutions, and decide, stack rank what's important for your company so that you can start creating a plan on how you can solve it.
I think what's neat there that you said, and it's been a little bit of a theme, I feel like, at just the first 4 guests that we've had, but just that looking outside the industry. That's so important, and watching how other people are serving their customers, and how can we pull that experience in for our prospects, our guests to our communities. And another thing that I heard there was making it easy to do business with us, right? When you say one tap, I mean, the reason we all have higher credit card bills probably is with Amazon, you just go, oh yeah, I want that. Or now anywhere, shoot, you can be on Facebook and hit, yes, I want that. All of a sudden it arrives at your door. So it's so easy. And I think that's a big piece. And I know, Ian, you are very dialed in on all the data and what's coming into our industry as well.
Yeah, I think I love your answer in terms of prioritizing data, and seeing that as the piece that you're really focused on, and that getting that data quality and the importance there, because I see, we ask this question to tons of people, and the constant answer is typically like AI, and and what people don't really stop and think about enough is that what really drives those AI solutions, or the new, what you're talking about, marketing, the new marketing solutions. And it's really the underlying data. And as an industry, it's an area that we've kind of struggled with from time to time, is really increasing that quality data. And that's what's going to lead to those next level solutions. I always quote Mark Cuban, because I watch a lot of podcasts with him on there, and he always is looking at evaluating these AI solutions. And for him, he's like, I pretty much don't trust anyone to do AI that's not like Amazon or Google. And the reason being is they have all that underlying data. They're only one with enough to really be able to, for like true AI, to actually make an impact there. And so I think for companies like Griffiths and that are focusing on getting that quality data, that you guys are really going to be able to reap the rewards as time goes on by focusing on that, rather than the technology that uses that to power those solutions, so to speak.
Right. And AI is so scary to us, especially in this industry, when we're so hands-on and we're all about customer service, and we want to be there and help our customer and hold their hands and walk them through the process. And then they're residents with us, and we want to take care of them. And that AI can be scary, but at some point you have to take a step back and figure out, how can we still nurture our customers while at the same time maybe automating some things that would make life easier for everybody.
Right, leveraging that technology that's out there. Christy, you bring up our front lines, our leasing teams, and I think about this all the time. How do you lead when you maybe haven't been in that role? So for you, because you're an amazing leader, and you have been innovative, and you've embraced your team, and you've helped perpetuate the culture within Griffiths, but having never walked in the shoes of your leasing teams, how do you connect with them? How do you make sure that your fingertips are on the pulse of what's happening to them and what they want to deliver?
It's really about setting up an open door policy, right? So when I started, I didn't wait to be trained. I started meeting with people right away, building relationships, communicating with team members, giving them a way to reach out to me when there's problems. And the best way to connect is to be on site, right? Walk the property, go walk the property, walk the whole marketing path, have conversations about what works, what doesn't work, walk through all the tools that they have, ask them if they were king of the world, what could they change, and help support fixing changes, right? And with COVID, honestly, you can't be on site all the time, or if you're a company where you have hundreds of properties, it's harder to get to every one of them. And so really it goes to having the right tools to talk to people. So our IT set us up with some great tools where we could chat with people all day, every day. I call it's similar to like a desk drop by, like hey, do you have a minute while you're sitting there? Like you can just scoot in on someone, send them a little chat. Hey, I got a question, and setting up meetings that have a cadence to share the vision of what you're working on, and sharing really just the vision and the timing, and then asking for help from them, and giving them time in advance to know when that's coming.
The open door policy is fabulous, and helping them not feel so afraid. Because I don't care if you're in your 20s or in your 50s or whenever, sometimes it can be a little intimidating to be asked that too, because you don't want to fault anything that is currently happening. So that's beautiful. Well, we'll pick this up on the other side, and we'll go to another quick commercial and be right back.
Okay.
Introducing Remote Lock Universal Access Control. Remote Lock lets you manage any lock, from smart locks to hardwired access control systems, securing every door from the main entrance to the rooftop patio. And you get to choose from the best top-of-the-line smart locks out there, from brands like Yale, Schlage, Kwikset, August, Mercury, and many more. Now you can configure and add access at the push of a button, and set up customized schedules for each and every user, all within a matter of minutes. It even works with property management and booking software like Airbnb, Guesty, Entrata, RealPage, and more. With Remote Lock, you'll finally have a future-proof solution that controls all your properties around the world from a single, easy-to-use platform. Let Remote Lock be the last access control partner you'll ever need.
Hey guys, Jonathan Turner here from The Jonathan Turner Show. We premiere every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, and Twitch. On tomorrow's show on Wednesday, it's St. Patrick's Day. How do you spend your St. Patrick's Day? Tomorrow we're going to talk about the 10 very best ways to spend St. Patrick's Day this year, and so much more here on The Jonathan Turner Show. So tune in tomorrow morning live on Facebook, YouTube, Podbean, Twitch, and Twitter at 7 a.m. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Oh my gosh, I just saw that Chicago Green River. I've always wanted to go to that, and I forget that tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Wanted to see. Have either of you seen that?
Not in person.
Nope.
Ian, I would have expected you had. I mean, you've been everywhere. You probably were in Ireland drinking green beer on St. Patrick's Day.
I wish. Also on my bucket list, but 0 for 2 on those. When we left there, we were kind of talking a lot more about that, this open door policy, and talking and how you communicate with the teams and let their voice be heard. I'm curious too, with you have such an amazing experience with going with being part of a huge organization like KPMG to where you are now with Griffiths Residential and smaller, but a lot of amazing executives with very strong minds and a very fast-growing company that's attracting amazing talent. And curious, with such great talent around you and the executives all there too, how do you make sure you're heard in a company like Griffiths and have that voice?
Well, I think it's more about. It's less about my voice and more about the vision of the company. I think it's important to listen to your leadership and understand, as from your company, what the values are, what the goals are and what their vision is for a month down 5 years down the road. And then along with that, it's important to create marketing plans and strategic visions that align with all the goals of the company. And so from there, the way that I'm heard is I find what is an opportunity to make something better. I will research possible solutions, provide all the options with a recommendation or a direction, take into account cost and timing, and then how I'm going to use data to judge the effectiveness of the change. And from there, I have open discussions with leadership on here's my recommendation. Do you agree? Let's talk about it. And then it's myself and it's operations, and everyone buys into the final solution. And if we disagree on the solution, we go back and forth and we come to a road where we all agree on it in the end. And once you can have several projects under your belt and you become a trusted advisor and a trusted partner, it's easier to talk through having relationships with your team members and having discussions about it in the future.
I think it's so valuable to have people in the room that are willing to share an opposing opinion, right?
Yes.
Whether it's at an apartment association meeting and you've got everybody around a round table and you're talking about an event coming up to the boardroom at Griffiths. It's those opposing views are what take you places. And I think that's something that's so important. It's not that we're arguing, right? It's that we're discussing and trying to move things forward. And I think that's such valuable input, Christy, on that.
And I love being challenged. Like I can't sit in a vacuum and create a plan that no one's ever seen without input on it. It's the input right. is the most important part. And having, whether it's an easy discussion or a difficult discussion, it only makes what you're doing better.
Yeah, and there the other side of it, it's really, one, what I'm hearing too is really getting aligned with that vision of the company from an executive standpoint, and the other side of it is it's really getting that message passed down to your on-site teams, and curious from what do you use to communicate effectively with those on-site teams and really make sure that that message is passed down and resonates with them as well.
It's having meetings, quarterly meetings, monthly meetings with a cadence to share all the plans and the strategy so that everyone's involved on it and everyone knows the timing, and then having consistent tap-ins internally with your own teams on meeting those milestones. Really, absolutely. Lots of email follow-up too. Yeah. I'm not going to deny there's some emails in there.
So. Wanted to get to our final question here that we ask every single person that comes on the Leasing Highway here, and really, what is that advice that you would give someone just starting out in the industry that you pass on?
I would say when looking for a job, it's important to find a company that aligns culturally with what you're looking for, and so a company that meets your needs. So you might have to do a little research on the culture and what that looks like. You can look at some of the awards that are out there in Colorado. The Denver Post has a Best Places to Work award. There's a fairly newer award that's across the USA that if you have more than properties in more than one metro area. And so researching the companies, finding out about the culture, looking at their mission on their website to see if it aligns with what you are looking at, setting up job alerts when you find companies where you're like, oh, that's them, I want to work for them. And then from there, LinkedIn is a great resource. I have people reach out to me on LinkedIn all the time saying, hey, what do you think of Griffiths? What do you have any open positions? Here's my background. I love that. I love helping new talent find what's best for them. And then once someone gets started, and then there's internships as well. If you're brand new to the industry, a lot of companies have internships, including Griffiths Residential, where you can get a foot in the door that sometimes leads to a longer full-time position. From a leasing standpoint, when you get started or anywhere in multifamily, anywhere that you've started, whether it's AP or the investment side or finance, when you get in the door, you will have some level of training. And I would just encourage everyone to take that level of training one step further. Ask the right questions, get involved, make yourself successful. If you're on site, meet with your service managers. Don't ask for permission to hang out with your new coworkers to get to know them and what they do and how they do business and how you're going to work together as a team. And so everyone gets a different level of training and shadowing, but I would encourage everyone that gets a new position to just step out there and make things happen for yourself.
What I love about your advice is it sounds like it's exactly what you did when you came to Griffiths a year ago. And that's fantastic, right? That you're walking the walk and you've done it and you know that it works. And that's incredible advice. Christy, it has been so enjoyable to have you on today. As you know, I think you were the fourth in a series of women that we got to celebrate over the last 4 weeks, and strong leaders, and you've just topped it off so fine. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, thank you.
And next week, I'll share, next week we're going to have Girish. I feel like he's like Madonna, and you could just say Girish, COO of Trilogy. And so definitely tune in and hear from him. He's awesome, an awesome mind, and we're excited to have him as well. Thank you again, Christy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.